Hello everyone. We're gonna spend a little time here going over the history of this business called the Blue Carabao and how we ended up in the restaurant business. I came to the Philippines in September of 2008. I got married, uh, had a child, but before the child, we came to Davao and we visited my wife's father, and he had an eatery business down in Obrero in Davao City called Cabuan ni Manok. And it was a popular spot. Um, during the week you get a lot of taxi cab drivers. There was lots of students, and on the weekend you got the taxi cab drivers would take their families in there. It was a real family spot in the on Sundays. So it was quite interesting, um, and the food was very good. I enjoyed it, especially the Carabao soup. And so we went back to our place, which was in Butuan City. And after having the child, I figured I better go back to Canada and dig up some funds. So that's what I did. I got working in a refinery up in northern Alberta, Muskeg River Shell Project, working for Eveready Environmental. So we were looking after the environmental state of that project up there, and it was a very good job, and it supplied me with what I need. So I spent I was up there for about 6 months, and during that time, my wife sent me an email to let me know that her father was wanting to get out of the eatery business due to he just owed so much money. You see here in the Philippines, uh, for the average Joe, it's not too easy to get a loan, and so there's a need, and it's met by those who come from like India, Pakistan, and they're money lenders. It's a high rate of interest, but you can borrow money. Well, her father had about between 10 and 15, if not more, of these guys popping into his place every day. Here's 100 pesos, here's 200, whatever. So at the end of the day, there was nothing left. And to tell you the truth, he was running that restaurant basically to have a place to live because they all stayed inside. Most 70% of them lived inside. When they closed the business, they were living in there, and so it was just to put a roof over their head and food in their stomach. That was it. There was no profit because his prices were so low. And the students, they would bring their own food in there and just buy one meal. The rest they already had with them, so you can't make any. How can you survive with that? So uh, Sherry, she sent me that email, and she says, I'm really concerned about the jobs that are there, and then asked me if I would like to invest in buying that business. Well, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't too keen on it. Yeah, there was a lot of people, but boy, that was a rough place. And so I hummed and hawed about it as well. I said, if you think you can, if you can at least can you break even? And she said, yeah, I think I can do that. Well, I says, if you think that, we'll go for it. Well, so off we go. But the price that we settled on and what we ended up paying for the business was two different things because her father owed so much to all these money lenders. They were coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, showing her the collection book he still owes. So we had to settle up these accounts, and so we paid a lot of money for that business, but in the looking back at it, it was worth it because it had the clientele already. It had them there. All we had to do was make improvements on it. And What else do I got? I got this all written down because I couldn't remember it all. So that was my first time having a funny feeling in my posterior region, with being given a price and then the reality of the situation. So there's a few more of those along the way, but we'll talk about that on a different video. So as I returned from my winter warrior in the coals of northern Canada, I was looking forward to thawing out in the Philippines. But as soon as I got off the plane and come here, I was put right to work in the restaurant. And man, it was hot. The ceilings were low, fans blowing all over the place, but still it was so hot. The kitchen generating, and at the time it was only 2 spaces. And and the rice was cooked in pots. Everything was lots of heat, aluminum pots, so there was lots of waste. So I'm not familiar with the restaurant business. I'm a truck driver, farmer, slash maintenance person. But as a truck driver, I knew that there's restaurants out there, truck stops, and you knew the ones that had a good reputation. One, they were clean. Two, the food tasted really good. The portions were large, and it was affordable. So that's what I took in there. That was my contribution to it. And slowly we made changes in the way things were being done. The first of them was to install a rice steamer, because this cooking rice in these big pots, and you're getting 2 inches of burnt rice in the bottom, and you're just throwing that out. That's money out. So we got a steamer, and it was no waste, and it improved the quality of the rice, and it brought more customers in there. It was very efficient. Before we were always running out. Now there was no need for it, because we were able to do 25 kilos of rice in one shot. So we had lots of rice. But believe it or not, we still, when you're working with people, we still had the odd time where we had to wait 10, 15 minutes for the rice to be finally cooked because somebody didn't load it properly. So yeah, this original business had 2 spaces. That was what the restaurant was in. And over time, there was 2 more next door became available. Now the original 2 we were paying $5,000, so it was $10,000 a month rent. The other 2, they were the same, so we took over the lease from that. And so now we have 4 spaces. So the pictures that you see, if you go online and you just do a search on Blue Carabao Eatery, that's the finished product there. That's everything up and running full bore. And we did the extension on the front there. We poured concrete. You can see if there's an extension out there. We put a cover over it. All those wooden tables that you see there, a lot of them are in this place here. So they're 14, 15 years old, some of those tables, and still in wonderful shape. So here we go. We're going along. We got customers coming in there. We're doing good. I'm slowly weeding out the students who are just coming in there just to bringing their own food in. I've never seen that before, and I didn't like it because I know how much that was costing us. And I'm trying to improve the wage, everybody. And by this time, nobody's staying inside. We got rid of that. I didn't agree with that. You shouldn't be staying inside. It's just not good. We cleaned it up. There was a lot of problems with rats and cockroaches when we were there. And listen, folks, you're in a third world country. Cockroaches have wings, and they're going to fly. You can have your place as clean as possible, but those things are going to come in through a door. So you just do your best. That's just the way it works here. There's not a restaurant here that won't have that problem. And I'm going to tell you, some of them are really bad. Let me just tell you this. you have every right as a customer to ask to see that kitchen. Because you're paying for that food, and you need it to be, make sure it's safe. And if they won't let you take a quick look in their kitchen, then you better walk out the door. And 9 times out of 10, you can have a fancy dining area, but man, you go into that kitchen, you're gonna see something that you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't want to eat that food. So that's just a little bit of a tip. So yeah, we're going along really good now. We're just starting to, we're breaking even. Basically, that's it. We're breaking even. We're weeding out the good workers and the bad. Um, and we're improving the quality of the food. My wife is now cooking there, and I didn't know she could cook like this. My goodness, she was laying out that huge serving table that we had in there. It was really, that table must have been oh, I guess 3.5 meters long. And it was something that we had made. It was all made from wood. We had a carpenter make it for us. And she could lay that thing out like by 10 o'clock, be all done for everything. And in this case, in North America, we have a standard like if you have food laid, it can only be laid out for so long, and then it's done. Well, the standard is different here. You can have it out for 4 hours, then you take it into the kitchen and you reheat it, and it can be back out for another 4. That's the standard here. We never met the second part of that standard. I can tell you that, because as quick as we put that food on that table, it was gone. So there was, in our 4-door chiller that we put into place for food safety, there wasn't much put in there. If anything, it was the soups that we had, the Carabao soup, the hanalang. We would take the liquid and put the meat in the chiller and then use that for soup, which is even better because it's that much more tender, that much more tasty. And so we did really well. We were going through 120 kilos of Carabao meat a month. It was just crazy. Pork, the same. Chicken, 2 cooks, my wife and another cook going full bore, and 30 staff. So now our first exposure to being promoted on the internet happened in 2008. So like I said, by that time we had everything pretty well up to snuff, food safety wise, and it was good. I was happy with it. It was an enjoyable place to be. We had it looking really good. My wife decorated it somewhat, so we painted it up, cleaned it all up, got rid of all the pests that used to be in there. So we had a gentleman visit us by the name of Mr. Buck Branham, and he's long since fell asleep in death, but he owned the web page Deval Gastronomic Adventure. And that was our first one. And if you go on to that, Deval Gastronomic Adventures, I'll try to put a link, or just I'll put it on there in a comment, and you can check the review out for yourself. That's just one of 5 reviews that we had done in our place. So I'm not going to keep this video going for much longer. But in part 2, we'll go through some more of the reviews, and I'm going to show you some other things that are pretty interesting to let you know what we were able to accomplish in this business, and what the name stands for. What is Blue Carabao, and the recognition that we got in the industry, not only here, but believe it or not, even made mention of in a culinary magazine in the United States. So all of this was very humbling for us. Anyway, you can look forward to that for the next video. This is number 1 in the history of the Blue Carabao business. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't talk your ear off. But it lets you know what a foreigner can expect when you come in here and get into the food industry. And along the line, it's what you can expect to get into any business here. You're going to have to be very careful. You're going to really have to do your work. And we had a really hand up because the business was already established. All we had to do was maintain that and clean it up, which is what we did, and then take it from there. So that was a really a good thing that happened. Anyway, you folks enjoy the rest of your day or night wherever you're at. Keep safe, and we'll talk to you again soon. Over and out.